We had been married for 8 years and my wife cheated on me and found the love of her life. Hello, I've been a lurker here for a little while trying to process infidelity in my life. Long story short, wife and I have been married 8 years, together few years longer total and have 2 small kids. This year has been tough and we have had our arguments but nothing that I would ever think would push my wife to cheat. Anyways, I noticed her lately being distant and being uncommunicative and decided to confront one evening. At that time, she said that she was not happy and couldn't feel a spark anymore. At first I freaked out on myself thinking I was being a non-attentive husband, truthfully an issue. However, the next day, I caught a very strange message on her phone that was extremely lovey-dovey. I took a look and then found my wife was messaging a man for a long time with lots of I love yous and plans for a future together. Completely destroyed. Anyways, taking the advice of the many threads on here, I didn't confront initially. I actually read as much as I could, contacted a couple lawyers for advice, one now on retainer, and got my head on straight and calm. I confronted my wife a couple days ago calmly and asked if she was having an affair, and after a couple minutes, she admitted everything. Long story short, it's been going on for 6 months and she claims it's the deepest emotional connection ever. A complete ridiculousness, but whatever. To end it all, I gave my list of boundaries, cut off contact, therapy, etc. The thing that I think is the final nail of an honest attempt to reconcile is she got extremely aggravated with cutting off contact, especially when I told her to do it in front of me and even insisted to see him one last time, for closure. I stood my ground and told her that if it is so important that she should take a bag back and go live with him, to which she backed down, but not before telling me that I was a ridiculous control freak. Anyways, she sent a text this morning and showed me, but my spidey senses seem to think she will try a different means of communication. I'm thinking there is no hope and I honestly don't want it at this point, but I just wanted to be able to tell my kids in 20 years I at least tried. We have therapy tomorrow, but I'm thinking it's time to file before wasting any time or grief. I'm cautious to move too fast because of my kids, but is this the right way to do it? Wow, this thread got big, fast. Thanks for the awesome comments, it's been helpful to get validation. I have the paperwork filled out with my lawyer, they just need to process it and I will have to pick a date to have her served. You are all right, this will not end well if I go the doormat route. Need to think about my future and my kids and move on. It honestly is great to see someone not be a doormat in this situation. Honestly, good on you for playing it smart. It will suck, but keep that rage on red hot, don't let it cool down because you are keeping your head in the game. You will thank yourself later for this, your kids will also once they are capable of understanding. I would actually consider keeping the evidence locked away in case she ever tries telling the children a different story. So they can see it with their own eyes. Probably too extreme, and not a good parent thing to do to go that scorched earth and salt the fields. OP, thank you. This forum has been a tremendous help, I honestly feel hopeful for my future and these threads have saved me a lot of future heartache. That's the right way to do it after everything you've read your gut is telling you. Funny is how she calls you ridiculous controlling, but you're not the one who cheated. Tell her you want paternity tests because she's proven she's a liar and a cheater. Your wife did not hide her relationship and emotional state, the relationship will be lived in secret. Your wife doesn't want to leave lover. Informed him and sent the message you requested. Communication continues on the second phone or at work. I'm assuming lover is his co-worker. OP, not a direct co-worker but someone she interacts with in her industry. But I agree, this is going to likely continue by another means, which just means it's time to rip the band-aid off. Update. Hi everyone, the past few weeks simply put have sucked, but it's given me time for a lot of soul-searching and thinking. As an update from the previous thread, the wife and I did attend some counseling after the initial confrontation, and I will say this particular counselor has been very good about listening to both of us and not assigning blame or anything like that, and helping to navigate our new reality. She has also helped to uncover some structural issues in our relationship, and while that doesn't at all excuse my wife's behavior, it's helpful at least knowing for a future relationship and not repeating the same mistakes. As also mentioned in the thread, my wife's initial reaction to my boundary to cut off contact with the lover appeared to go unheeded, and I did catch some small messages between them before she completely went dark with her chat logs/phone. After seeing that, I decided to file, and she was served a few days ago, and in parallel, I decided to have a heart-to-heart with my FIL as we are super close and I needed to prioritize this support for our kids versus our relationship, as I could see my wife wanted to sweep this under a rug. Needless to say, my wife was initially extremely upset, her fantasy was blown up, but our therapist did talk it through with her from my point of view on why this needed to happen, and I think she is starting to realize the consequence of her actions and start to see there are real things that are going to be lost. From here on out, I'm just trying to process the new life ahead and the huge change in my identity from a husband/father to something else, same with her. I will say, since I filed, my wife was immediately shocked when I dropped that on her, and she has been very emotional these past few days. I honestly think she thought I would never be able to walk away. I have kept her at arm's length, but I have seen a distinct change in her, and on a positive note, we have talked more, kept our conversations civil and focused on our shared priorities, children mostly. I've made it very clear to her that she left a huge wound on me and that she has to do the heavy lifting to help repair and give me space and time if I can ever begin to forgive. I'll say it again and again, her actions are the most selfish, self-centered horrible thing you could do to a person, but I have not lost sight that we still need to raise our children, and that is my focus point as I navigate how I will move to the next phase of my personal happiness. I wanted to thank everyone for the previous comments and insight. I am honestly proud that I found the strength to not wallow in self-pity, anger, or sadness, and was able to make the right moves to retain my dignity and look forward to a bright future. I honestly don't know all the next moves, and my feelings are constantly in flux, but I am starting to feel some inner peace. Thank you all again. I am very proud of your progress. You stuck it out and exhausted that route. Yes, she was deep in the affair fog, but she not only broke your boundaries but also your heart when she told you he was the deepest emotional connection she had. My only advice to you is that you stay this course at least until divorce. Afterwards, if you want to reconcile and you feel it's the right path, then go ahead, but if you don't divorce her and take her back, she and your children will understand that there are some actions that don't have consequences. Again, well done. We are all very proud of you. OP, thank you. I have no desire to reconcile, it's full speed ahead. I lost all my trust for this woman, and she continues to peddle the idea that our marriage went so wrong, and no remorse for her actions. Full speed ahead, and I hope she is prepared to live with her choices. I just read your first post in this one. My situation was almost identical to yours. I caught her messaging lover after she agreed to cut him off. When we went to couples therapy, they tried to drag me into relationship analysis, and I blew up on the therapist and my ex after they tried to both corner me about housework and doing more of it. I then realized that the therapists cater to soften any accountability that would cause conflict. I had to force the counselor to confront my ex about the ongoing text messages. She wouldn't do it. I was basically running the counseling session myself, and we quit thereafter anyways after I decided to leave her. It's as if an emergency room patient came in with a chest wound, and the doctor started by asking if he smoked or had too much cholesterol. All those other health factors are irrelevant as long as there's an open hole in your chest. This is why when you started describing your counseling session, I was getting angry and thinking that they were somehow going to convince you that you had a part to blame for the cheating. My ex was also shocked I went through with splitting up too. Anyways, good luck, and I think you're doing the right thing. OP, I will say I went in very defensive about this counselor, but she has been very helpful and has lots of experience with infidelity. She can see there were some unmet needs in this relationship, but she has not let my wife off the hook for her behavior and praised us for at least agreeing on many topics important for our children. I have been very open to what I want from this counseling, and I will say I'm getting some positive benefit off of it, thankfully. When I told her some details about why I decided to finally drop papers, she agreed wholeheartedly this was the right thing to do and would help us navigate our issues. Very strong. You are doing this the right way and are doing the best for you and your family. The way you describe your WS is absolutely correct, and her fantasy unfortunately didn't give your children any consideration and how her fantasy would affect them. The way you have done things, I know you will continue to stay strong for yourself and your children. So this may not count for much, but compared to your original post this is a 180 in a good way. You seemed a bit in shock initially, which is entirely understandable. Now those so seem to have taken as much control of your own mind, emotions, and life as possible. ATM, keep doing exactly what you need for yourself and your kids, and the rest will most likely work itself out eventually. Good luck, and I am still sorry to hear that she lost her mind and ruined all of your lives.